So it took me a little while. I got a contract working with the NHS, which was really useful in primary care. So I've been coaching and supporting primary care teams, GPs, practice managers, and working with them. And I had a core contract, but during that time I thought, you know, I want to be doing something that's just for me, that's driven by my own passion. So I actually got around to it. I launched my website and did everything and had my workshop, my Wise Women Futures workshop, and then COVID came. And I thought that was good timing. So it was a little bit of a shame, because I was quite excited. My sister, who is 71, is an opera singer, and she's still singing. You know, she has no intention of stopping. And she's now sort of, she says, playing the hags and the bags and the witches. And she's just having a ball, really, because none of them are that challenging. And she was going to open the workshop, and it was all going to be great, you know, and I hired this venue with a lake, and it was all very exciting. And so I was a little bit disappointed, as you can imagine, but I've decided that I need to switch like everyone else and go online. So all of the sort of change that I've gone through since lockdown, and also the change that I've witnessed in the work that I've been doing with primary care, has kind of led me to this session, really, which I kind of wanted to share a little bit of learning. And I also wanted to get, hopefully what I'm going to talk to you about will be of some help to you, depending on where you are on this journey. So I've actually designed my own little kind of worksheet, and I need to finesse it slightly, and then I'll share it with you all. I'll send the link to Jill. And that's what I want to share with you a bit later on. But before I do, I just wanted to kind of get a sense of where you all are in terms of your adaptation to lockdown. And we've had the great talk from Sarah around how to manage working from home for those that aren't used to that. But I also want to sort of, what kind of inspired this talk today as well was, I've worked with GPs for many years, and they've all been a bit stuck in their ways, and suddenly, we wanted them to use video consultation, we wanted them to use telephone triage, we wanted them to kind of, move into the 21st century, but they were very reluctant to, online consultation, all of that. And suddenly, they were catapulted into it. They had to do it. They had no choice. And whilst that's been great for someone like myself that's been trying to facilitate that, it's been really, really hard for them. And so they've been on this really fast learning journey. And part of my role has been to help them capture that learning. And also that when we come out of this, that they hang on to it and they don't just lose it. And revert back to their old ways, which could easily happen. So we're kind of, if you can imagine, we've kind of been dragging them, and then suddenly, woof, they come and they're sort of all over it. But they could be sort of thinking, still this kind of like, I don't really like this, it's not really working for me. And some are going, this is amazing, I wish I'd done it before. So we've got to capture all of that and try and make something from it. So just as a sort of a question really to you all is, I think there's kind of three things here. There's the kind of, when lockdown came, I was amazed at how people switched to this like incredible innovation and drive to adapt to this new world. So some people were like really quick to do it. Then there were people that kind of waited and reflected and thought, I'll just see how this pans out. And they've gradually started to make changes now. And then there's the other people who are basically, they're in a really, really difficult situation. Their life has been changed irrevocably and it's not what they want. And they're kind of a bit stuck. So I think there's this sort of continuum. And it was great to hear, I think it was Carly, was it, with the dog food, the cause. I think I mean, you are an example of someone who's just gone bang, I'm going to take it to the community. And you've kind of totally milked it by the sound of it. So I think Can you do a show of hands, really? So it would be interesting to know who's kind of embraced COVID as a business opportunity and adapted. So is there kind of a show of hands to who's done that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think that's most, but I can't see Emma's.
That is most people,
majority,
isn't it?
yeah.
That is pretty amazing. Is there anyone that kind of had to just sort of sit back and reflect, and now they're starting to move forward on that now?
So Jane, do you want to unmute yourself, as you're in a bit of a minority there, and tell us about you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a shock because very much I like to see people face to face. I'm not very good at technical stuff, but I'm getting used to Zoom and I like it. So it's sort of arranging to see people by Zoom really at the moment. And I suppose I expected to get back to normal quite quickly. And I think that's apparent that we're not going to for several months, possibly years.
Yeah.
So yes, I am starting to find ways around it.
Good.
Not sure about embracing it.
And so I think, so that's great that, and I'm not surprised that you've all put your hands up and said that you have adapted, because I kind of wouldn't expect anything else from you guys. But having said that, we're still all on it. We still don't know what it looks like, and I get a sense that it seems like you have some control. You've decided what you can control and what you can't, which is great. And you've used all your kind of drawn on all of your innovative skills and your networking skills to adapt. For me, I kind of didn't do that. I kind of like, I mean, I'm somebody who likes to reflect anyway. I like to sit back and watch what happens for a little while before I make any action. And I, to be honest, I was really surprised at how quickly people responded. And, you know, no offense here, this is purely how I was. It's not a criticism of anybody else. But I kind of thought, crikey, what is the matter with people? You know, we've just got a massive pandemic. Like, just sit back and stop, you know, let's just see what's going to happen. And everyone's like, you know, it's not, don't let it get you down. You can do this, you can do that. And there was all this kind of action going on. And everyone's saying, I'm going to adapt my business, I'm going to do this. And I was thinking, I was worried about people, to be honest. I was thinking, are they really taking this on board and thinking about this? And they don't really know where we're going. And yet they're changing everything. Didn't we want to just kind of wait and see what happens? So I'm a wait and see what happens person. That's why I haven't got my Wise Women Futures workshop online yet.
But that's interesting, Laura, because you're clearly a reflector. I'm an activist, and there was no thought other than, I've got 2 meetings at the end of March, let's just go online. So I wonder how much of it is, you know, our learning styles and how we behave generally anyway. Absolutely,
absolutely. And I think, you know, and I'm all for, when I work with people, I'm always sort of saying, you know, in fact, in this tool I'm about to share with you, it is a little bit about, you know, let's try and see it. And that's what we do with in my work with primary care. You know, they're so risk averse, like massively risk averse. And to get them to do anything is really difficult. So you guys seem to be not risk averse. I mean, I'm sure you are, you know, but you seem to be very confident in just taking that step forward. And I guess that's what business and entrepreneurs are like. That's in their DNA, and that's why they are where they are. But, you know, I think at the same time, it's important to learn from everything that we do. So what I want to share with you now is, how do we sort of move forward, but we reflect, how's it going, what can we change, and we move forward, how's it going? So it's kind of a learning cycle, which is what we do in the NHS all the time. And I think it works really well. So I'm going to see if I can share. I'm going to get this thing up.
Okay.
And then I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I don't know how I do that.
You should have one when you click on share screen.
Oh, I've got it.
Should say desktop.
I've got it, and then I go share. Can you see that?
Well, yes, we can.
Have you?
Yeah, well, we can see, yes, we can.
See, reframe, refresh, grow.
Yes, we can't see the whole thing. You'll have to scroll up slowly.
That's because you're not allowed to see the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Carry on.
So I want you to focus on this first bit. So I just we're in my work that I'm doing with the NHS at the moment is very much around recovery. So they're kind of reaching, and my husband works for local government, and you know they are in the recovery phase. And so what I was sort of thinking, how can we kind of get all that we've learned and experienced and sort of really start to think and ask questions. So I've got reframe is the first bit. Reframe is where you are now and what you've been doing. And so what has changed for you in the recent months? So you ask, if you can ask yourself this question and you note down all the good stuff that's happened, and you note down as well the stuff that you've done that hasn't really worked that well. And a little bit of reflection. So it's a bit of a reflection, you know, what have I learned during this time? So you sort of work, so you stick to that reframe box. And then once you've noted down all the good stuff that's happened, you then move to the refresh. So this is kind of looking a little bit into the future. So what two things you could take? I mean, that's a bit arbitrary, you could take one or two. What two things can you take from all the good stuff to refresh? So what have you done in these last 8 to 9 weeks where you've all gone bang and adapted, changed? If you could like really think back, what are the two things actually that you've done that you could really start to build on a little bit more? And actually make them a little bit better, refine them, refresh them, rather than just kind of letting it go and take you on the journey, but you're kind of in control of what's happening still. And then I quite like to sort of think about the not so good stuff. So if you've tried something that hasn't worked that well and you've kind of ditched it a little bit, maybe you should revisit it a little bit and think, actually, why did I try that? And is there some scope to use this to do something useful with? And whether that's something that you've learned particularly from why it didn't work, and it's something that you want to kind of just kind of investigate a little bit more. So then you've got those things that you want to build on a little bit and refresh. So you're just hanging on to those few things. You then move to the grow. So then that's more kind of looking really into the future. So you've got, you know, if you think before COVID, you were running your business, we had no idea what was going to happen to us. And it happened so flipping quick, didn't it, really? You know, we were it was kind of happening over there, wasn't it? But it was never going to reach us. And you just changed so quickly. All of you women here today changed. So, you know, we need to sort of we want to kind of build on all that sort of amazing energy and strength that we got at that time. We don't want to let it go, and we want to hang on to that learning. So thinking about those two things, how can you develop and grow the two good things that you actually have chosen? So, you know, you're just thinking of a few things right now. You can go back and take more, but right now you're just thinking of two things. And how can you develop and grow the things that didn't work so well? You know, why didn't they work well? What could you have done differently? And how can I kind of improve on that? And then what do you need to enable you to grow these things? You know, so think about, what do I need? Who do I need? And what can you do? So it's that kind of coaching thing. So if you are a coach or you are somebody who works with people, you can sort of add lots of your sort of coaching questions to that grow bit to get people to be sort of developing and thinking a bit more about where do we go from now? So broadly what you're doing, that first thing is, I changed really quickly because of this horrendous situation that arrived. I made the absolute best of it. But now I want to think about what have I learned, and then how can I make it even better? How can I continue to keep it working? Okay, so the next bit, I wonder if I can, is that moving now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so remember the boxes are reframe, refresh, and grow. So the next question is, you've got your few things. The next thing is, what do you want to keep? So if you think about everything that changed during COVID, so what's serving you well and what isn't serving you well? So that's thinking again, it's a little bit like, you know, what's the good stuff, but actually, what do you want to keep? Do you want to get rid of some things, or do you want to hang on to them? And you have to think about, because you can't keep everything, and some things, you know, clearly haven't worked well. So really think about that. And how can you make what's serving you well work better for you? So that's refreshing. And what would you like to do with these? So it's kind of a choice time. And then the grow is looking forward. What can you develop? What can you do to develop these things further? What do you need? Again, it's a similar sort of coaching question. That's the coaching side. Can you change these to your advantage? How? So then the final one is what's missing. So, and this kind of comes from your learning. So if you've gone through the first two steps and really thought about what's working, what have you done, how have you changed, what are you going to get rid of, you then might start to think, well, actually, I've done all these amazing things, but actually, what haven't I done? You know, what's missing from my little box of tricks or my way forward? So think about the stuff that has dropped right out of your life or your business. I don't know whether any of you have done that. I mean, it'd be interesting to know whether, because we're on such a big fast forward button, have we stopped to reflect and think, you know, actually, what have I stopped doing completely? Because if we are in this recovery phase now, we need to kind of pick up some of those things. We need to think about what they are and actually bring them back to the fore if necessary. Or we might decide, actually, I don't really want them back in my life. Let's keep them where they are. And then, so the reframe is, the refresh is, sorry, what can you do to change this stuff to suit you now? So the stuff that you dropped off in the beginning of this COVID period, you can actually bring that back, but it can't be the same because the world is not the same. So have a think about that and what can you do that suits this world that we're in now. And then the grow is, what do you need to develop that further, and who can help you? And again, there's more questions. I'm going to add a few more questions to this template. And then finally, I had, what else do you need to consider? But I thought I actually think I might not put that box there. I think what I might put is, what might you just park for now? Because you might come up with some really great idea, but actually you cannot take it forward for whatever reason because of the constraints that we're in. Or you might have something that you thought about that's missing that you want to bring back, but it's not quite ready yet. So I thought we could have a parking box where you just put those ideas and thoughts so that when the time is right, you've got them noted down and they haven't sort of gone through your head and you've forgotten them. Because I think when we're in something and we're learning really fast, I think we just think we're going to remember, but that isn't necessarily the case. And we are moving and shifting so fast. I think writing down your idea and recording it, even though you can't do anything with it right now, is really important. So that's the box. That's my template, which I will finesse slightly, and I want to share that with you all. So I will finish it off and you can use it in your own work. I'm going to go to stop share.
Yay.
And come back to you all so I can see you all. And I would just like to have a few questions really and find out whether that was useful and whether there's something that you could, where you could take it forward. Whether one or two of you want to share something that might have just cropped up as we went through that you might have thought, well, actually, yeah, that is something I need to work on or reflect on.
Laura, that's great. We've got lots of comments in the box. So Claire, you can go first if you want to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Laura. That was really, really useful. Thank you. Obviously, I do work in a similar way in some respect as a fellow coach, but I think it's great that you've showed everybody a structure and a system that they can actually follow. And it also could be brought into personal and business. And I think from experience, it's sometimes we think something's failed and oh, that's it, well, that's a stupid idea and we get all, whatever. Have our pity party, as I call it. I think it's a great opportunity that you've defined it in a way that actually, just takes some time to reflect and go, actually a little tweak or two, could I, repurpose that? Could I put it out there? Could I try it again? So I think it's a great structure system. So thank you for sharing it with us. Really useful.
Oh, good, thank you.
Thanks, Claire. Does anybody else have a question or a comment? Do you want to wave at me? No? Yes. Helen, if you want to unmute.
Laura, I love your idea about the parking list. In your experience, would you suggest that we literally park them and forget them, or would you suggest that we ever go back to them?
I would say go back to them. Because, I've had ideas in the past, I'm sure you all will feel the same as this, where you thought that's the most ridiculous idea because that's where you are at that moment in time. Or actually your circumstances aren't right. But actually everything can change, as we know. And if you have a recording of it, you can go back to it and you can take that one thing and go through the the whole reframe, refresh, grow process with it. Because you'll be in a different place. So yeah, don't forget it.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Helen. Any other thoughts?
If something is a really, really rubbish idea and everyone laughs hysterically at it, it's the biggest embarrassment of your life, then you may want to think about ditching it. But other than that, I like to sort of hang on to things a little bit personally.
Okay, Anne, I think you wanted to make a comment.
Yeah, it's really useful framework, Laura, because I think I certainly found at the start of lockdown, a lot of people, when they're quite anxious or stressful, just do more and more and more and get into a real tailspin. So I think it's really useful to take that time out to reflect and have that space. For me, I have a long-term health condition, so I knew I had to improve my physical health this year. So actually, this has been a really good reminder to actually focus on what's really important in my life. And as I've gone through some of your questions, I thought there's actually quite a lot I want to let go of and not want to revisit, And some things that I want to carry on doing because I've had to do during this time period. So I think for people particularly who have really struggled with transition in their businesses or in their personal lives, this is a really good process for them to really actually see more clearly and think more clearly and not get caught up in the drama so much by taking it stage by stage. So thank you for that. I think that's got a lot of applications and benefits.
Thank you. Do you think that maybe I should add a box for letting go of stuff that actually...
Absolutely. I would for sure.
Yeah.
As I was working through it and sort of focusing on it, there's definitely stuff that I thought, right, that's going to go. That doesn't serve me anymore. It's not going to serve me. And I think sometimes you have to be quite ruthless in letting stuff go because, we get attached to things, don't we? And the less we let go, we're not creating space for new ideas and things to emerge and come into our lives.
I think that applies to people as well.
Oh my goodness, I've let so many people go, and this has been a good opportunity to do it.
It is, isn't it? You didn't have to see anybody.
Never to be seen again.
Best excuse ever.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan. Anybody else have any thoughts or comments? Tracy? I think you need to unmute yourself, sweetie.
I just want to add on to what Anne said, which is, you know, a lot of people, I try and teach them to trust the process of change once you've decided what you want to do. And it's very difficult for people when they don't know their process. So I'm going to be definitely using this whole thing that you've just given us. It's such a gift. Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you.
To use with people that need a more structured, they want it in writing. You know, people that are more black and white, and they say, tell me what to do type of thing. This is exactly that. So that's really, really, really great. Thanks.
Oh, thank you very much.
Anybody else have any other thoughts or comments?
I'll just say something. Laura, thank you so much, because I did plough headlong into the doing, probably like Jill did. And, you know, 8 weeks or however many weeks, I've got even no idea how many weeks we are in. It only in the last 2 weeks, would I say, that I've really thought about the reflecting side of what's working and what's not working. So your wonderful structure is a really helpful reminder to put those into boxes and make lists. Well, I like making lists, but you know, write down some things that are and aren't serving us, and not feel guilty or not guilty, or you know, just be aware of them. And so thank you so much. That's really helped me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Super. Okay, any final? Nicola at the top. Well, my top. Nicola, yes.
I'm trying to unmute myself.
There you go.
I was thank you, Laura. I was just going to say that, you know, you can try to achieve certain goals, or you've got your business plan and you've got your method of operation, however you're doing your business. But sometimes, you know, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and you think you're going to get to where you want to get to, and you don't. And you can't understand why you're not achieving your goals. And I think it's so important what Laura's showing, where you sit back and actually look at what you're doing, and do you need to make some simple changes in what you're doing, because you can just keep banging your head against a brick wall, can't you? You think you're doing it the right way, you keep doing it, but actually, if you're not moving forward and you're not progressing, you've got to change something. Otherwise, you know, there's got to be a reason why you're not achieving your goals. And this is just, it's great what you've shared with us, because you just sit back and just have a good look at what you're doing, and little tweaks can make a huge, massive difference. And especially, we're all in this situation and all in the same boat. I think that's so important. All in exactly the same boat and having to deal with it in our own way. But this is great, Laura, so thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I think actually just to add to that is even to, you know, this is kind of an exercise that you can do, and you can take a chunk at a time. But also, I think what I kind of encourage people to do, particularly if I've been in with a workshop, facilitating a workshop, or just a meeting, is to say, what do we learn right now? You know, what's changed just now, and what has someone said, or what's happened in our own minds that's just sort of switched, just flicked a switch or something. And usually every day, you know, if you've been working at home all day, you might just want to spend a bit of time thinking, what have I learned today? And just note it down, so that when you do this exercise, you've got a bit more to draw on. It's just that, I mean, I have to write things down because it kind of goes out of my head pretty quickly, or I can't quite remember how I felt. So you might even just write how you felt about something, you know? So it just helps build that picture for yourself.
Brilliant. I think that's something really helpful. You know, those of us that maybe at the end of the day write what we're grateful for or what went well, is that whole, certainly for me, being the activist I've mentioned, actually reflecting on what's gone well and writing it down is a really, really good practice. Laura, thank you so much. That was really, really helpful. Just what we wanted. I think that's got us all motivated for the week. So I'm going to just do a couple of parish notices and then whip round everybody. There's 18 of us left. Someone's just disappeared. And I know people have commitments, and I do like to finish on time, so I've only got 6 minutes. Just to say, we've recorded the sessions, and I will, they are separate, and I will create them into a YouTube video and put them in the Eugenie app. So those of you that are not on the Eugenie app, please do go in there. I've put all the members in their own groups. Guests, you are very welcome to join us in the app. I'll add a line on the follow-up email just to explain that. So I've made all members members of their own home groups. And also members of the online group. So this will be sat in the online group. So if you want to refresh and have another look at the video, you'll be able to do so. The next online meeting is at the very end of June, the 30th of June. Just to remind all members that June is the last month. You can go to as many meetings as you like for your £10 meeting fee for the month. And any visitors in the room, this is a really good time to join the SWIB tribe. I'm going to go round. I'm going to go in alphabetical order. I'm going to do what we often do at a lot of the meetings, is to say, what's your one takeaway from the meeting today? That gets harder when you're at the end. I realise that, Yasmin, that's going to be really hard for you because you're clearly going to be at the end. So please don't worry if it's a repeat. But I think that also it builds on what Laura's just done, is asking us to reflect. So I'll start with you, Anne. I can't see anybody. I'm just going on my list here. So if you're going to unmute yourselves and tell us your takeaway from today.
Yeah, I think it's got to be having a formal power hour, as Sarah suggested. Great idea, but there's so much you can take away, but that's the main thing.
Brilliant. Thank you, Anne.
Great.
Carly?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, it's been really good, thank you. Just general sort of motivation and lots of things to think about, rather than just one specific thing. And we'll definitely be connecting with Margot and Maya for the new house. I'm really interested in hearing what they do as well. So it's really great. Thank you.
Super. Thank you, Carly. Claire?
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the warm welcome and getting to know everybody. Takeaway, definitely the reframe, refresh and grow, and structuring that. So thank you again, Laura, and great tips from Sarah as well. Thank you.
Super, thank you. Lovely to see you, Claire. Emma? That's it.
Hi everybody. Yeah, thank you for today. It's been lovely and nice to see those people that I haven't seen before. My takeaway today is something from Sarah, who I always enjoy listening to, and it's about doing that sort of prep thing in the morning, the meditation, the visualizations, and I'm going to stick a load of affirmations up in my office now I've got it back. I keep meaning to do this and I don't. So Sarah, hold me to it, please. And yeah, so that's for me. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Emma. Jackie?
Hi, thanks for a lovely meeting. Really loved it and loved the breakout room too. My takeaway has definitely got to be the power hour. So being a little bit more self-disciplined and switching everything off while I'm working and just really sticking to it, not being distracted by my little friendly squirrel who's tapping on the window for food. So yeah, that's my takeaway. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you, Jackie. Jane?
I really enjoyed the format of the meeting today. I felt it really worked well. The two talks was just so upbeat. It's been a really good start to the week for me. And it was great to meet Joe, and I speak to Anne again in the breakout rooms. Really good. Enjoyed it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jane. Joe?
It's been really good to know the new online format of the group that's going forward, so really pleased to be part of that. And thank you, Sarah. Some really, really great motivational stuff in there, and Laura, as ever, calmed me down.
Lovely. Thanks, Joe. Laura?
Sorry about taking so long to get to the mute button. I've loved this. I've really kind of feel like I've really connected with people, and I love the breakout session. I love Sarah's talk, and I love the power hour. I definitely need to do that. I'm a bit of a kind of floaty. I'll just do a bit of this, a bit of that. I get easily distracted. So no, it's been really great, and the breakouts really good. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Laura. Lisa?
Hi, brilliant, lovely meeting. Thank you so much. And I agree, it's a really nice motivational way to start the week. So thank you. Wonderful talks by Sarah and Laura. I can't list the takeaways. I think the reminder for the park, it was really good for me. I have lots of ideas floating around my head. So actually, I just need to reinvigorate my notebook where I used to put stuff. But I actually need to revisit the notebook where I used to put stuff, because there's probably stuff in there that I've forgotten.
Brilliant. Thanks, Lisa. Maggie.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today. I know Nikki would have really enjoyed it today, but thank you for accepting me, even though I don't have my, I'm not running the business myself. But I really enjoy, thank you, Laura, for the park it list, because one thing I do, and I know Nikki does, is she comes up tons and tons of ideas, which we can't all do in that one day, and I know she wishes she could. So I'm definitely going to be suggesting that to her and then using it myself. So thank you very much for that.
Lovely. Thanks, Maggie. Lovely to see you. Nicola Henderson Hall first.
Hi, ladies. Yeah, thanks so much for today. I loved both your talks, Sarah. We had a great chat yesterday. You just added more to it. It was awesome. Thank you, Laura, for your chat too. I'm going a transition phase at the moment. My family's all over the place, and I'm quite an adaptable person. I think the COVID situation has made it a lot harder because I'm trying to move to another country. So just hearing what you were going through there, I could sort of simulate it into my own life a little bit. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Thank you. I love you all. Mwah.
I love you too, Nicola. Nicola Massau-Callard.
Thanks, Jill. What a great meeting. Two fantastic speakers. I really enjoyed both Sarah and Laura, and the breakout rooms. That's a great little feature, isn't it? For me, the biggest takeaway, I think the reflection and just reviewing what we're doing and focusing on what works well, and doing our best to improve what we're doing so that we can achieve our goals. So I've loved it. It's been really great, Jill. Thank you very much, and thanks to all the ladies this morning.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nicola. Paola.
Hello, everyone. I really enjoyed the meeting too. I really liked the breakout rooms. The 25 minutes was plenty of time, and it was really nice to have a proper conversation. So I really enjoyed that. Thank you. And I really liked the two talks as well. Laura as well. It really gave me some to look into reflecting again, and really sitting with my business and writing stuff down, and really thinking of how to bring my business forward. There's nothing really I want to let go of, and I'm very much a person who works in the moment. But it's still a really good time to just think what to do slightly different and how to bring it out in a different way. And yeah, just so thank you for that. It was really lovely.
Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you, Paola. Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. Lovely to meet some new people. I love that. Thank you so much, Laura. I loved your talk. And the two biggest things I got out of it was to calm down, number one. I have got this tile by my thing. Keep calm and be fabulous. But yeah, calm down and reflect, rather than going at 9,000 miles an hour like I normally do. So thank you so much for that. Really great. I really enjoyed it.
Lovely. Thank you, Sarah. Sue.
Yeah, I enjoyed both Sarah's and Laura's chats, and I enjoyed the breakouts like everyone else. It was nice speaking to Tracy and Yasmin, and having that little bit of opportunity to sort of find out a little bit more about them. I think the reflection and working out sort of the reframe, refresh, grow is good for everybody, working out what's working well and what's not working well. So yeah, it was a good session. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sue. Tracy.
Hi everyone. Yes, it was a long breakout room, which I really enjoyed. I felt like I really got to know everyone in the room a bit better. And to Sarah and to Laura, it's very difficult to really list a certain thing because both talks really brought something really significant to me. Sarah, I feel so motivated for the week, and I've written so many notes down. I'm really amped for the week. Thank you so much for that. And Laura, I think to use your strategy as for business is amazing, but also for in your personal life, in relationships or anything. So yes, I can't wait to get my copy of that thing and stick it up in my kitchen and make everybody in the house do it, because I think it would be really helpful, really.
Lovely. Thanks, Tracy. And finally, Yasmin.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, really good meeting. I enjoyed meeting Tracy and Susan in the breakout rooms. I really enjoyed both talks. My takeaway, I think as other people have said as well, my takeaway is just going to be to pause and reflect, because I was one of these people who, when we went into lockdown, I just hurtled forward 100 miles an hour thinking, right, what can I do? Just do, get it done. So I think now would be a lovely time to just reflect and think about what's gone well and what I need to change now.
Super. Thank you, Yasmin. And my final comment is, Laura, please don't reflect too long on that worksheet. We need it today. So that's it, everybody. Thank you all so much. It's lovely to see so many smiling faces. I'm all motivated for the week, and I hope you are all too. And I'll follow up with an email with all the links and see you later. You can unmute yourselves and wave. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great time. Bye. Bye.